Welcome to today's episode where we solve the mystery of the leaking roof.
Buckle up for safety as I give you a day in the life of facilities maintenance.
So I woke up this morning, it was raining outside, and we've just gone through a few months of an extended drought period here in British Columbia on the west coast, and pouring rain when I wake up, and the first thing I'm thinking, okay, what new roof leaks are we going to have at the school today? It turns out I wasn't wrong. I come into school and we've got extensive leaking into one of our classrooms beneath this flat roof, and I think I figured out what the issue is. I say I think because I'm pretty sure it's safe to talk about this now. It's been a couple years since we've had these buildings, but the company that installed these modular buildings declared bankruptcy basically on the day that we got occupancy. They packed up their tools and they left, and we haven't seen them since. They no longer exist, and so we have had no warranty service on these buildings. That's one thing, but the other thing is that they knew that this was coming, and the last month or two of the construction, when they were just buttoning everything up, was really just done on the cheap and just with a get her done attitude, and not bringing in proper contractors. For instance, the general contractors that were installing the modular buildings were the ones that did all the roof flashing. And so it stands to reason that I've been making roof flashing repairs for the last couple of years. And this is just the next one in line. Let me show you what it is. So this type of an AC unit you generally see on a residential application, like on a house. And so the refrigerant lines and whatnot are usually running horizontally through the wall. Whereas in this instance, the penetrations are running straight down through the roof. And you can do that, providing you do it correctly. And, well, they didn't. When you're going to use a flexible rubber boot like this, it's okay if you have a single penetration going through the roof, like, say, that gas line right there. That's the gray pipe you're seeing. But when you have multiple lines running through the roof, there's no way to get a real good seal in an application like this. Like, for instance, these are refrigerant lines, and so now the foam is being picked off, but look at it, it's wet. You can see the water squeezing out of there. So these things are getting soaked, and then this water is just, you can't get a good seal between the two pipes with a rubber boot like this. When the pipes are together, you have to use what's called a pitch pocket. Now, a pitch pocket would essentially, in this instance, would be a solid ring around here, and you'd have these pipes separated in the ring. The ring would be about so deep, and you'd fill it with a sealer, and that would completely seal the opening. Here's an example of one of the older units on the original building, where they did use what's called a pitch pocket. They're called pitch pockets because originally, prior to different roofing products, what would have been poured in there, and is probably still used today in some instances, is pitch, hence the name pitch pocket. You also wouldn't run the insulation through the sealed section. You'd cut the insulation off the pipe so that the sealer can actually make direct contact with the copper pipe itself.
So I had mentioned earlier that this roof had been leaking last year, and there were some flashing issues that I had to repair. But that was essentially taken care of, and then we went a very long time without any leaks. And so after the rains and this started up, I always ask myself, okay, what has changed? What's different? And if you look at this picture that I'll pull in here from 6 months ago, it was taken last April. Now we're at a distance here, but if you look at it, you can see that the foam wrapping around the refrigerant lines is perfect. It hasn't been picked away. And you may have noticed earlier in this video how chewed up the foam around the refrigerant lines is. So it's now opened, it's just acting like a sponge, and it's channeling the water right down through where the leak is. You walk into a situation like this and you ask yourself, okay, what's different? And that's when I thought, I'm going to take a look in the furnace room. And I went into the furnace room, and sure enough, there was a puddle of water at the bottom of the refrigerant line where it goes through the floor down to the classroom beneath this one, because we're on the second floor here. It was a very poor seal around the penetration point where the refrigerant lines run through the roof. Picking away at that foam exacerbated the problem, and now we've got a ton of water coming through, which is what has led us to here.
So I am going to need to get myself 3 bags of EDPM pitch pocket sealer for that one over there, which is our worst, that one, which isn't leaking yet but has the potential to, and this one, which is probably leaking a little bit. So again, yeah, I'll start on this side and then work my way over to those 4 over there. So that's my issue here. I've got 6 units on the roofs of these buildings, and each unit has two or 3 areas that need to be repaired. Well, I might as well start with the ones that are leaking, right? So I'll post that in a later video, the actual process that I go through to fix this, but for now I just thought I'd let you know what I'm working on today.